Hey, thanks for tuning into Bourbon Battles. I'm your host, Joe, where we review whiskey. We tell you exactly what we think about it. And sometimes we do them one-on-one blind, which is what we're going to do today. So stick with us.
And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
All right, so let's get into it. Is this your first time joining us? Hey, if it is, thanks for joining us. Do me a favor and subscribe so you don't miss any more of this great stuff. And then this weekend, when you got nothing to do, get up early and watch all the Bourbon Battles episodes. It'll be a lot of fun. So, like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to take two whiskeys, one-on-one, blind. I've got a box over here. It's actually a drawer. Some call it a bucket. Some call it a barrel, right? So I'm going to get in the bucket of fun over here. I'm going to draw it out. You see what it looks like, two whiskeys. Let's show you what it looks like. So as you bunch in here, this is what they look like. Draw it at random. Two small sample bottles in here, two expressions labeled 1 and 2, and a sealed envelope with the answer key. So I always have to pay attention to what I'm doing. 1, 2, and then they're backwards. So this is 1, this is 2. I'm going to get into these, see what we think. Don't know anything about them. We don't know if they're rye. We don't know if they're bourbons. We don't know if they're high proof, low proof, toasted, flavored. We don't have any idea. It could be Crown Royal Blackberry against Screwball. I don't know. It could be anything, right? But what I will tell you is there has been some thought that went into what we pair against what. So one of the last ones I did was Old Fitzgerald Decanter, which is a wheated bourbon that's bottled and bonded 100 proof. We paired that up in the blind bucket against Maker's Mark 101. See that? 1 proof point, so basically the same proof, both wheated bourbons, so some similarities. Now, of course, the ages were drastically different. But, by the way, Maker's Mark 101 won that bad boy, so that says a lot. So that's what we're here to do. Evan Williams Bottled and Bond routinely beats Blanton's, that kind of thing. We want to show you that the hype of the label isn't something that you need to be all that concerned about. There's great whiskeys out there that you might not know about. So let's get into these. You guys already know what I'm drinking. I have no idea. The color on these is both fantastic looking. You know what you know what I'm drinking, but you don't know which order it's in. So you're gonna have to wait to the end to see who wins. And if you want to fast forward, you might miss something really good. Okay, let's see what we got here. Hey, while I'm nosing on these two, take a look at this graphic here. Stave and Thief Society, 15% off the Executive Bourbon Steward course. Check that out. Go to their website. See if that's something you're interested in. Highly, highly recommend these guys. Pencil shavings. So let me explain tasting notes and nosing notes to you a little bit. So you watch all these YouTube channels, and literally I sat down one time and I wrote down all the tasting notes I found on 5 different channels for Old Forester 1910. And there was like 80 tasting notes and nosing notes. It's overwhelming, right? So I don't go heavily into these things, right? But what I will tell you is I'm going to start doing more nosing and tasting notes because it's been requested so much. But I'm going to try to keep it a little broader. I'm not going to go into dandelion root and rhubarb and all this stuff. I'm going to talk about some of the prominent things because I get things that you're not going to get. So if you're searching out green apple, or if you're searching out grape in a Buffalo Trace product that I get, it's going to be tough, right? I used to get banana in a lot of Brown Forman products, and I've kind of lost that to an extent. Every once in a while I will. But things that are really prominent, I'm going to start talking about them more because it's been requested so much. So let's get into the nose on number 1. Old books, Sharpie, pencil shavings, right? That tells me that this is old. And at first nosing, I got more of that. It's kind of really died down. Some of that, not nearly as prominent as I thought. Number 2 nose. Not a lot of nose there. some fruit stuff, stone fruit stuff, right? Yeah. So I actually, the nose is going to go very, very marginally to number 2. I don't know, man. Those are so close on the nose. Let's get into tasting them. Oh my gosh. That's really good. Sometimes I'll try to guess the distillery, and I usually make an ass out of myself. These are fantastic. I do think number 1's got some pretty good proof to it. If I come to your house and you serve me either one of these and don't tell me what it is, I'm going to be very happy that you invited me over. Man, this is going to be so hard to pick. Let me know in the comments. Pause the video and let me know in the comments what you would pick if you picked, right? Don't look to see who won yet. If this is something you've had, let me know. Let me know your experience with these things, when you had it for the first time, what you thought about it, all that good stuff. Guys, comments help in the algorithm more than you could ever know. There's a chance number 1's a Buffalo Trace product. I hate to even say that. The finish on these is fantastic. And as I sit here, I'm just kind of looking around the room like, gosh, I hope this is something that's not very expensive, because so I have a table over here that's just got backup stuff on it, right? Where I have multiples, right? There might be a bottle up here somewhere that's unopened and an opened one over here. Uh, you don't have to know me very well to know that they're usually both open. So this is the table I try to go through. Whatever these are, as long as they're reasonably priced, there's getting another bottle of both of these. So there's one over there that become my daily drinkers. Let me know in the comments if you want a video just to what's on the daily drinker table. Wow. Man, that's good. Let me know in the comments also if you want to see another blind battle and what it is that you want to see. Okay, so I've got to pick these. I'm going to go ahead and say it. One of these is better, but it's close. So I have to pick a winner, and it's extremely difficult to do. But I'm going to pick number 2. And it's so close by the thinnest of margins. I feel like the finish is maybe just a touch better. The nose was just a touch better. The palate was about as close to a tie as you can get. So let's see what we got. You guys already know what I'm drinking, but you don't know what order they're in. So as while I open this, let me get these bottles down so I can speak to them a little bit. Okay. Man, oh man. So we're going to go ahead and call it right now. This is an absolute unicorn killer series episode. So number 1, I did not pick this, and I don't have the bottle. This sample is given to me by Matt that I work with. Thank you so much, Matt. Man, was that good. I'm a little surprised I didn't pick it, right? This thing's got crazy good reviews, and it's crazy good whiskey. Don't get me wrong. And that's the Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse. A lot of people that know what they're talking about will tell you that this is the best thing to ever come out of Wild Turkey. This happened to be Camp Nelson F, 117.6 proof, and it's 10 years old. So what's interesting to me is the initial nose of this. I got those really old dusty notes that went away really, really quickly. So it was just that initial nose. It's a 10-year age statement, so that's not crazy. So what's going to be really crazy is the next one, which is, of course, as you know, the Wilderness Trail High Rye Mash Bill. It's a bourbon. It's 4 years and 4 months. So this is 113 proof. So this is not the regular Wilderness Trail that's on the shelf because that's a lower proof, but this is a store pick. These things are out and about. And the reason I put this up against the Russell's Reserve was because of the proof, right? And the mash bills are very similar. This particular one comes out of Rickhouse A. We know that because it's a single barrel. And this particular one was bought at what? So this is where store picks get really interesting, right? You start to trust these people's palates. And this store is a really interesting place to buy store picks. And if you're ever in Bardstown, you've got to go to this store. It's Toddy's Liquor. It used to be owned by Toddy Beam. Now Guthrie runs it down there. Who's who of bourbon he is one of them. And that to me, it's like, okay, you probably get some really primo stuff because of where you're at and what you mean to the bourbon world. Yeah, and they ship too. So check out Guthrie store down there. This cast strength, it's wow. I forgot how good this is. It's been on the shelf for a while. It's long gone now, but if you see one of these with this color label on it, that's a cast strength store pick, just because of this, buy it, buy it, buy it. It's a fraction of the cost of the Camp Nelson, the Russell's Reserve Rickhouse, single Rickhouse. That stuff's going for insane money on the secondary market. If I can find it, I'll put it up on the screen there, but I think it's $800 plus. The retail on it's really high. This is extremely reasonable. Like I said, these things were so close, it was hard to pick. What a cool experience. Again, thank you, Matt, for allowing me the opportunity to try the single Rickhouse from Russell's. Big Wild Turkey fan, big fan of that stuff. I want to say that it probably you'll see the retail there. It's a lot. Is it worth that? Yeah, it probably is. Delicious whiskey. So wow. So hey, that's why we do them blind, because this is the results that we love to see. We took a phenomenal whiskey that gets all these crazy rave reviews. We put it up against something that this is pretty obtainable. Now, of course, it's a store pick, so I get that. I get all that. But Wilderness Trail is amazing whiskey, and it's one of those whiskeys that people have started to forget about. So I want to do an episode. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you want to see an episode on whiskeys like Wilderness Trail that people are starting to forget about? Because there's so many labels in a liquor store these days. There's too much to choose from, in my opinion. So it's just hard, and it's so easy to forget about the Wilderness Trails or some of the Peerless stuff. As I look around the room, right, the Mattingly has been forgotten about. Of course, it's a super high-end whiskey, but it's phenomenal. There's so much stuff out there that just, the Rebel cast strength and Distiller Select, same with the Ezra Brooks, the Chattanooga stuff. There's so much stuff that could be easily forgotten about if we're not careful, because these bright, shiny things come along like Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse. Is it good? It's great. But hey, that's why we do this. Like I said, hey, I want to remind you, drinking bourbon is supposed to be fun. Do it with your friends. Do it blind. Do it responsibly. But whatever you do, don't drink and drive. See you next time.
Don't drive to the watermelon crawl.